Hi, welcome. So, in this video, we are going to look at index match. Remember, in the last video, we looked at VLOOKUP, and it's very important for an analyst to understand how to use these things like VLOOKUP or index match, because that is what you're able to use to join maybe two tables, like we saw in the last video. So, you can always go back and look at that video and see the example of how we are joining two tables like the staff table and the sales table using VLOOKUP. So in this video, we are going to continue with index match, which is still another way of doing it. Remember, in Excel, there are several ways of doing the same thing. So let's just go and use that same example with index match this time. Okay, so here, I'll just create a new sheet here, and then I'll just call it index match. So what I'll do is I'll just copy some this data here. Let's just copy this right up to here. So we are saying that imagine the data came like this from the system. So copy and then we paste here. So let me just increase here. So imagine the data came like this from the system. Again, like in the last video, we said, let's say we have a staff table, and then each of the staff matricule is here. So ST01, ST02. So ST01 is John, and then John's start date in the company was 1998. The town John is from is Douala. The job title, the sex. So there could be so many columns here to describe this matricule here. So if you understand a bit of your data warehousing, this will be your primary key, and it's going to be unique for each person. Just like in the company, each staff has a specific matricule. Each person has a unique matricule. There's no persons with the same matricule. So this is a table which might be coming from maybe a SQL database from a different system. Then you might have the sales report coming from another completely different CRM system, which is stating just maybe the days or the times of sale. At this time this was sold. So here is the code for that sale. This is also unique, so that we can be able to refer each sale at any time. And then now the product that was sold was milk. This is the code if you want to refer to it to in another table. And then here's the quantity, 2 cartons maybe. Here's the unit price. So we can just even say here unit price. And then this is the total sales, this times this. So as you see here, this times this. Now we also have the staff matricule here, but we don't have the other details of the staff because the table will be too heavy and you'll be redundant. You'll be repeating the same thing. You have staff matricule here, and the staff name, and the staff sex, and the staff town. And then another table, you still have staff matricule again, and the staff name, and the staff town, and the staff sex. So we use VLOOKUP to be able to link. Say we wanted to create an analysis, which, let me just reduce this a bit. Let's say we wanted to do an analysis which is saying how much sales maybe per product. That is what you see in this report by default. But now what if you wanted to say how much sales maybe per staff sex, or per staff town, or per maybe even the start date, seniority, how many years of experience. So there could be so many things here, or even the name. You just want to know who made the highest sale. With this matricule, we are not seeing that. So this is what now we are going to do. We did that with VLOOKUP in the previous video. So we are going to do it now with what we call index match. So index and match. So index and match. So we're going to combine two functions now. First of all, what is match? So if you go here, you press equal to match, you will see that it returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. So this is actually let me just click here. You would see it needs a lookup value. What value are you searching for? maybe you're searching for this value st03, and which lookup array do you want to get that value from. So let's say you are looking for this st03 and you want to find out where it is here. So let me go back and click and press st03 comma. Now where's the lookup array? Here is the lookup array, and then let's say I press enter. So it gives me a value 3. What does this 3 mean? This 3 means that in this array here, it is in the 3rd position. So that is what match does. Match takes, you have an array like this, and then it tells you at what position is the value you're searching for found. So let's just say we were looking for st05 instead. So here we go here, we say st05 instead. This is it, and then we press enter. It tells us that's actually at the 5th position. So this is at the 5th position. Now what does index do? Index is a very interesting function. There are so many things you can do with index, but we'll just use the simple case here, like we want to use it like an option to VLOOKUP. So index here, you see, if you see the syntax here, it has index as an array, as a reference. So it's really very dynamic. But let's just use a simple case here. So it's asking you, show me an array and then precise the row number, and I'll tell you the value that is found there. So let me just do that. If it's your first time, it might be a bit confusing. So we want to get like say this the sex, for example. So we'll say this is our array, and we want to get the array at the 5th position here, the 5th position. Then now let's just press that, enter, we get male. So what does this mean? While match gave you the 5th position, it helped you to get the 5th position, which was what we did here. We said look for st5 and tell us where it's found. Let's take the 3rd, look for st3 and tell us where it's found. It's at the 3rd position. Now we know that st3 is 3 steps away. 1, 2, 3. That is what match has done for you. Now what does index do? Index says give me any column you want, maybe sex, maybe name, maybe town, and then tell me the number of steps you want me to count, and I'll tell you the value. So in this case, sex, we want to count 1, 2, 3, for example, and then we get this value. So that is why we are going to give it that input of 3 here, and then we get that answer. But now what if we don't want now to be typing manually that 3 and the 5 all the time? And that's when you use now the combination of index match to be able to say the index now is going to take the input of the match. So which means, remember I showed you how to copy the formula last time. So which means whatever value you get from here, Control C, copy, press enter, it's going to be 3. But then I'll not want to write the 3 manually. I'll place it here like that. So I'll press enter. So that is now become now index match, a combination of the two. So which again means that I would be able to say this value here, S3, male or female for ST3. Now I could now pull this maybe to ST2 and 5. Press enter, it's going to tell me still male. Now let me just take ST2 here so that we can get at least a female. So if we take this and we say look up st2, we get female. So it's almost like the VLOOKUP. Remember, the VLOOKUP would have done almost the same thing, which would have sent equals to VLOOKUP. Take this, yeah, check from this. Yeah, we saw that in the last video. You can just go back and check. Then go steps away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go steps away 6. Then exact match 0. And then close it up, press enter. You see it still gives me the same female for VLOOKUP, and this one too for index match. I still get the same female. So this is for index match here. Let me take this way. So index match gives me female, and VLOOKUP gives me female too. So if I take this up like this, and I have female here. So if if it goes up, now the difference is you just have to make sure that you block your formulae, like make them not to move. Yeah, make them fixed. Same as you do the same thing here. Make them fixed. Make them fixed. Make them fixed. So make them fixed here. Now, when you pull them now, you get these values. So which means you get the same result. But now, what advantage does index match have over VLOOKUP? The advantage now is that with VLOOKUP, remember, like we saw in the last video, equals to VLOOKUP. They says looks for the value in the leftmost column. So the value must be in the leftmost column. What does that mean? So let's say the matricule was here, and then maybe the sex was instead here. Let me just shift this. So I'm going to press shift and carry this way. Let's say the sex was here and matricule came after it. So let's see what's going to happen. You see, the VLOOKUP is going to break up because the VLOOKUP, that the matricule is no longer in the leftmost column. It is instead the sex that is in the leftmost column. But index match is more robust. It stays still no matter how you displace it. So even if sex goes to the left or goes to the right or goes anywhere, goes here, goes that way, it index match stays, but VLOOKUP gets broken up because it has to make sure, it have to be strict. If I put sex in the middle, anywhere I put it, index match is going to stay, but you see VLOOKUP keeps changing and it's just confused because you have to make sure that it is fixed on the leftmost column, and then you remember you have to count the number of columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when it was here to be able to get the VLOOKUP like we saw in the previous video. So you have two ways of populating your data and joining your data, either using VLOOKUP or index match based on your use case. So I know for some of you it might be the first time, but then you would always need tools like this to link up two tables, two sheets, two workbooks where you have data in one, another in one, and there's a common column between the two of them. You use that column, use a VLOOKUP, or use index match. So you just need to practice and you'll be able to get this right. And as you get this right, it's really going to open up a whole new world of possibilities for you as an analyst, because this is just exactly what you do with joins. And that is really some of the things that distinguish the analyst maybe from other professions when they are using databases. That's why at times we use relational databases, because we want to be able to do lookups like this, use joins like this, other than using maybe no SQL databases. So this is very important to know. So I hope you're able to practice this. You'll be able to use this and be able to understand how to look up tables like this. There's an interesting one called XLOOKUP, which is easier, summarizes all this, and is for Excel, maybe I think 2019 and above. But for those who have old Excel, you will not have XLOOKUP unless you install it like an add-on. But then work with the VLOOKUP, work with the XLOOKUP, work with the index match, whatever is okay for you. Just get the principles right and make sure you are able to do a good job with this. So see you next video. Wish you good data luck.